Hello and welcome back to Under Heaven. We will be continuing where we left off, which if you recall is after Ash had their little freak out. And instead of it being a private freak out, everyone was there to witness it. Julian, everyone else. I already forgot everyone else's names. I was like, yeah, okay, this is Julian, this is Ash, but I don't remember anyone else's names. Anyways, so yeah, they were getting to get a drink and then all of a sudden it just happened. And I think that they might have started carving something into their skin or something, which, you know, it freaked everyone out. So how they're gonna deal with that, don't know yet, but like, yeah, that's not very good, especially since it's been happening since the beginning of the story. Well, since when they first showed up. So yeah. They've already been to the doctors and everything, and they haven't really like told them like, hey, yeah, there's something going on with your brain. It's more like we can't find anything, you know. And it also didn't help that Ash didn't really tell them exactly what was going on, but now that it's technically out in the open, you know, they're gonna have to figure it out. And yeah, I mean, it kind of sucks because with the whole group as a whole, it was sort of like, yeah, you know, you're part of the group now, you know, you can't just move out, like, stay. And now it's like, oh, you're crazy. But anyway, so without further ado, let us continue Under Heaven. My footfalls are heavy as I make my way down the stairs. I can just catch the edges of a hushed conversation dying out. I'm sure the exhaustion is written plainly on my face and on theirs. Alex looks scared. Lark observes me, sharp-eyed and tense. They're scared too and concerned besides, though I wouldn't have caught either if I didn't know them so well. Amir looks mostly concerned, but there is something else, a nameless sadness. Whether it's for me or for Ash, I don't know. There is an awkward beat of silence. How's he doing? Good as can be expected, I guess. Whatever came over him, it's past. He's okay. As okay as anyone could be after that, anyway. Yeah, that, Julian, what the fuck just happened? Sorry, that came out harsh. I don't know. He doesn't know either. I don't know. He remembers it, but he says it wasn't him. I'm not sure I understood. And you're, just leaving him in your room? No, I mean, I'm sorry, but I wasn't just doing that. I stayed until he was asleep. I don't think that he's gonna do anything to himself while he's passed out, but he's going to have to sleep at some point. And so are we, unless we're gonna take it in shifts, still. And I took anything sharp that I could find. If he starts breaking a window or something, we'll at least hear it. Jesus. They exchange looks, and there's another beat of awkward silence. Well, this all seems pretty fucked. I blow out a heavy breath and collapse into the easy chair. Pretty much. Okay, I mean, he's having some sort of mental health episode. So what's next? Can we get him help? Hard to say what we can get, and hard to say what will actually be helpful. Assuming he's already stable, there may not be much that we can do beyond scheduling appointments. But that's assuming that he's stable. He seemed lucid after the episode passed, but it's difficult to know for sure. Thought he'd be doing okay. Not like he'd do that. It's certainly sudden. He was dealing with a lot, perhaps more than we realized. Though, unless he's an excellent actor, I wouldn't expect such a drastic shift outside of something substance-related. I feel a surge of annoyance at the insinuation, even knowing that they don't mean it like that, but Amir speaks up before I can. No, I don't buy it. I mean, it could be. I don't think it's likely either, but nothing is. I've truly never seen anything like this. We'll need to monitor him, at the very least to know if this is beyond what capacity we have to keep him safe, as unavailable as more significant resources are. So that's just it then? We have no idea what's going on and there's nothing that we can do about it? What if that happens again? A heavy silence hangs over us. I'm gonna see about some kind of follow-up. I mean, surely they can at least move some appointments sooner with this happening, right? Doubt it. Appointments? Oh yeah, from when we first took him to get checked out for the memory stuff, they were going to set up with a therapist for, help dealing with the whole situation. Then there was some kind of specialist related to some issues with his exchange firmware, I think. His firmware? Yeah, there was something about weird diagnostic codes, but the appointment with the specialist was months out. What could that have to do with anything? He's having some kind of mental health crisis, not debugging his goddamn interface. Well, it hardly gives us any answers right now. If nothing else, it may be best to see where we stand after a good night's sleep. Yeah, I'm going to go check up on him. Good luck, both of you. Thanks. We say our goodbyes, and I head for the stairs. I pause in the hallway outside our room. I'm scared. I think that I'm more scared than I've ever been in my life. But for Ash's sake, I open the door. There was a moment when I was living on the streets when I found an entire case of wine in the dumpster behind a liquor store. I drank the whole thing, or as much as I could before it hit. Definitely a solid couple of bottles. It was red wine. When I vomited, it was hard to tell whether or not I was throwing up blood. Of course, if I was, I wouldn't have had anywhere to go. I would take that hangover again over waking up now. Because I wake up and I remember. I'm entangled in Julian's sheets and my body is racked with a new kind of weakness. My arms burn like I've been working out, but flashes of memory resemble themselves against my will. I remember being held down. Oh God. What happened? What did I do? I scramble and try to right myself, but collapse and gasp out a ragged breath. My blood is pounding in my ears. Everything is too bright. I force myself to wait as the light comes back into focus. I move one part of my body at a time, checking, demanding that each one is under my control as I move through the necessary steps to right myself. I manage to sit on the edge of the bed, hands resting on my thighs. What? I try to put the scattered fragments back in order. Something came over me. Some compulsion. I broke a bottle. I pointed it at myself. Julian tackled me. After that, confusion, then darkness. I draw in a deep, shaky breath. What the fuck was that? What happened? But I already know, don't I? Because I remember losing time in the shower. I remember blacking out and then writing some kind of number on the mirror in that bathroom on the bar. But I remember more than that. I remember that I did nothing. I remember that I didn't tell a soul. I remember that I lied to them and to myself to hide it. Well, good fucking job, Ash. I feel the sense of slipping, like a bus slamming its brakes too late before the impact. The moment when the friction gives and you just slide. The point when I could have chosen differently has passed. The particular shape or specifics of the coming disintegration isn't even interesting. It just is. I take a deep, shaky breath. There was a burning somewhere in my throat and behind my eyes. Couldn't I have not fucked it up just this once? Couldn't I have done better? How was I supposed to, when I had this thing inside of me? But no. I did this. Maybe not here and now, but it was only me that did this to myself in the first place. It was my own choices 2 years ago that led to this. I was the one who thought that I could escape from them. I was the one who lied and hid it all from Julian. I was the one who tried to steal a life that I could never keep. My head sinks into my hands, eyes squeeze shut, pinprick tears needle me and I can't hold them back. It isn't fair. I've tried over and over again. I've tried as hard as I can. I've tried so much harder than most people ever have to. It isn't fair. Maybe I could just blame bad luck. Except that bad luck isn't real. Weakness and stupidity are. There is one commonality, one poison that taints everything that I touch, and it's me. Was it so wrong to want such simple things? Was it so wrong to steal time and friendship, to steal a home and a place within it? It was. It was. Deep down, deeper than any mistake or crime, I've always known. No theft or struggle or honest work will ever deliver those things, that life to me. They were only ever meant for other people. They were never meant for me. They were never meant for people like me. And now I've only harmed myself and others for a fleeting glimpse of them. But greater harm stretches out still. Greater acts of weakness could remain. Now, though, they could hurt more than me. They could hurt Julian. Unless just once, if I can have the strength to do the right thing. I tighten, I tense, knowing what must come. I will the tears to end and press my palms to my eyes when they do not. Like a muscle pushed to the point of exhaustion, they eventually surrender. My breathing isn't steady, but it's slowed. My gut, my limbs, my eyes all hurt. There is a full body ache in me, bone deep. It takes several minutes to collect myself, then a bit longer to robotically get up and wash my face. The practical considerations are quick and mercifully straightforward. By the time Julian opens the door, I'm brooding through the closet. Hey, just wanted to check in. Everything okay? Well, I mean, as okay as it can be, considering. I don't answer him immediately. I don't know what to say, or I want somebody else to say it for me. But of course nobody does, and Julian just shifts uncomfortably. Ash, can you, hear me? Are you... I'm fine. Or I'm not. Like that, again. Okay, if you still need some space, I can head back downstairs for a bit. I don't know how to answer, and I'm still just looking into the closet. I reach in, taking one of my shirts. I hear his heavy footsteps pad towards me, and then those warm, familiar arms wrap around my torso from behind. His breath is warm against my neck, but I don't react and he notices. Hey, it's going to be okay, alright? Whatever that was, we're gonna get through it. We were talking it over. I'm thinking tomorrow that it might make sense to go back in and get checked. That's not gonna happen. That gives him pause. He slowly withdraws his arms from me and takes his time to say something, like he's disarming a landmine. I hate it, but it's only my own fault for dragging this out. I know that they weren't really helpful last time, but it's better than nothing. Maybe if it counts as more of an emergency, they'll be able to move that appointment. At last, I turn and face him. That familiar softness in his eyes cuts into me. That's not what I mean. We need, to be reasonable about this. What? You mean the cost? Ash, come on. We've got bigger. No. I mean we need to be realistic about what happened and what might happen again. I didn't choose to do that. And I don't know what I might do next. Ash, what are you saying? I'm saying that it'd be better and safer for the both of us for me to go back to handling things on my own. I fold the shirt in my hands and step past Julian, setting it next to the others on the bed. What else is there to pack? God, when did I own so many clothes? Wait, hang on. You can't be serious. We have no idea how that long that could take. And before you come back, how would you even... Julian, no. I'm not coming back. This is for the best. What? First you're dealing with it on your own, and now you're just leaving? Ash, that doesn't make any sense. I'm not... Why would you even say something like that? Please, it's just been a long night. Let's just... You saw what I almost did to myself. What if it happened again and I hurt someone else? What if I did something even worse? Why would you let go? That's... Ash, that wasn't you. There's not... We can be careful. We can figure something out. It only happened the one time since you woke up. We just need to make it a few more months. Please don't make me say it. But there's no choice, is there? No, it wasn't. What? It's not the first time that it's happened. Because I've been fucking lying to you. It's worse than you know, and you don't need to be a part of it. There's gaps where I suddenly wake up and don't know what I did. The first time nothing happened, then I vandalized the bathroom. Then this. It's not getting better, it's getting worse, and I hid it from you. I can't meet his eyes as I go back to the closet. Do I need to grab my stuff from the bathroom? Fuck, who cares if I don't brush my teeth for a while? Ash, I don't care if you hid it. I mean, it's not great, but it doesn't matter. What's important is that He doesn't get it. He thinks that this is just gonna go away. That it's not deeper, older. And I lied about what I remember. How could that possibly... I tried to fucking kill myself. It's the last thing that I remember. There was a program that was supposed to disable exchange logout safeties. I thought that I could just lie down and drift away. No hunger, no thirst, no pain. This is what it fucking is, Julian. This is what I am. And I hate that too. It was never gonna work. Don't you see that? Where's the anger that I deserve? Why is he... See what? See that you were hurt? See that you were scared? Oh my god, Ash, that's horrible. And now you're just telling me you're gonna go crawl off and find a hole to die in? And I'm supposed to... Huh? He pulls in air with a sobbing, ugly gasp. There was a deep, low drop in the pit of my stomach. I remember feeling it once before. It's the feeling of making a terrible mistake once it's too late to take it back. You can't ask me to be okay with... Even if you can't be with me, you don't have anywhere. Can you just stay until we figure something out, please? It's not that I can't be with you. It's about what you... Then stay. It's that simple, just... Sorry, just give me just... This is wrong. I have no right to weaken as he begs. But I don't know if I have the strength to say no. I can go tomorrow. It doesn't have to be right this second. I need to go get some air. I move towards the door and he nearly lunges at me. Wait, Ash, please. No, I'm gonna come back. My stuff is still on the bed, see? I'll come back. He looks at me with those soft, wounded eyes and blinks tears from them, breath trembling and catching. He sniffs, rubbing his forearm across his nose, and then nods, wordlessly. And I'm sorry, Julian. And neither of us says a word as I slip out. The glass of the bus window is dully cold against my cheek. I try to focus on that physical sensation, preferring it to anything that I could actually be thinking about. Of course today would be an early shift. I stayed up late waiting, but ended up falling asleep before Ash came back to bed. I woke to find him curled away from me in the opposite corner, sheets pulled to his chin and clenched fists. I tried not to wake him when I slipped out. It's a quiet, gray morning. I don't know how to feel. I'm just kind of raw and scraped out mostly. Maybe I'm humiliated at how I couldn't keep it together during our argument. Maybe I feel ashamed that I didn't stand up for myself and more, and that I begged him to stay. Should I have been angrier? I guess I'm at least kind of upset that he didn't tell me what was going on. Not really though, not fully. I can understand hiding it. The earlier parts anyway. But hiding that his symptoms have been getting worse. I don't know. He wasn't lying about that part. They're dangerous. Could he be dangerous? I can't really bring myself to think that. But what am I supposed to think? Everything about this is so far outside of anything that I've dealt with. Maybe he is dangerous. But still, nothing he's described so far has ever involved hurting somebody else. It's always been aimed at. I can see him holding the bottle again. There was such a terrible emptiness in his eyes. That wasn't him. It couldn't have been. But it did happen, didn't it? Just what have I gotten myself into? And then the realization settles in, like cold water trickling down my back. I could have just let him walk. He might still leave, probably will if I'm being honest. Or he might stay. And the next time that he tries something like that, I might not be there, or fast enough to stop him. I realize that I'm breathing faster and force myself to settle. I run a hand over my face before leaning back against my seat. All of this isn't even counting the way that he acted. Not the lying, but the fact that he was so ready to just leave. Do I mean so little to him? Or is he really that unwilling to let himself be helped? And if he is, what am I even supposed to do? What can I do? There's at least some part of me that can't help but wonder. How much simpler would my life have been if I just let him leave? No, I don't mean that. I don't want that. Despite everything, I can't deny my own feelings for him. They haven't left. But I'm still just as lost as I was lost last night. I sigh and rub my hand over my forehead. It's gonna be a long day. The work isn't really any worse than usual in an absolute sense. But each minor irritation is that much harder to get over than usual. Each small sting burns deeper. I'm more than ready for my break by the time that it happens. Just crazy to me, honestly, so I'm stuck waiting for it to get towed before I can finish out the neighborhood. I know it's another world up there in the Wreath, but boy, can you imagine the kind of money that it'd take to afford a car and then you just leave it somewhere? Looked like it's been there for a while too. It was rusted up a bit. You doing okay, Julian? You haven't really been yourself today. Oh, we don't really talk much outside of work, but I'd consider Clyde a friend. I spare a glance towards the office before remembering that Russell's out today, so at least we'll have some privacy. Where do I even start? Hell, how much do I even share? It's kind of a long story. Trouble at home, I guess. With the new fella? It's complicated. Ain't it always? It sounded like things were going well. Hit your first big argument? Kind of. I weigh my words carefully. He's going through some stuff, like really serious, really scary, mental health stuff that I only just learned about. Technically true, I guess. And it's a lot. Clyde's expression turned serious. He ended up taking it out on you? No, nothing like that. The opposite, I guess. The opposite? Like, I guess more like he didn't want me to deal with it at all. I don't even know how or if he plans to deal with it. Like he was trying to protect you from it by keeping you in the dark? Something like that. Or like he was ready to walk out and spare you from it. I hadn't planned on revealing that part, but my facial expression obviously gives me away. That's rough. Real rough. I'm sorry, Julian. It's just, I don't know how to deal with it, and it still hasn't settled. But you haven't actually broken up yet. I flash back to the last night, to begging him to stay. Definitely not sharing that part. I guess. He's about your age, right? Yeah, he's been through a lot. Has he been in a serious relationship before? I feel odd at realizing that I don't actually know. And yet it's hard to imagine anything good on that front, from the way that he described the years since we fell out of contact. I'm not actually sure, but I guess I wouldn't be surprised if he hasn't. Think that I'm getting the picture. He's got some, like you said, serious, scary stuff that he's used to dealing with on his own. Probably just as scary to actually share it. Yeah, but it's more than that. It's serious, like life-affecting. Clyde goes quiet for a moment at that. Did I ever tell you much about how things went with Sarah right after we had our first? Something in his tone catches me. I glance towards the door. Looks like we've got some privacy. I had no idea what he's talking about. No, I don't think so. Well, anything you've heard about things being pretty hellish for the first few months is true. It was a real tough birth, so she was still recovering, and we suddenly had this new life between us that wasn't able to do much more than scream. God, we barely slept at first, and it wasn't like we could take much leave. Honestly, I remember wondering if that's how soldiers used to feel. We were just surviving, barely sleeping and practically not talking to each other when we needed to. So, I guess it was easy enough for me to miss the signs. She was quiet, but we were both quiet. She had a hard time getting things done, but hell, we both did. It was a common thing apparently, postpartum depression. It was like she just fell to pieces and I had no idea that it was happening. Holy shit. That's awful. What happened? Some hard conversations, some hard choices. What do you mean? She was hiding it, Julian. She didn't want me to find out. Because a mother's just supposed to naturally, immediately love her child, right? She's supposed to be happy to have brought new life into the world. And so if she doesn't, well, that's a shameful thing, isn't it? It's the kind of thing that she can't bear to face. That's the way that she thought about it anyway. And so she didn't want to get help. And I had to have a long, hard look in the mirror and decide what that meant. What did it mean? It meant that there was a future where we had made it together and a future where we didn't. And a future where we did but shouldn't have and just grew miserable together. Well, the first future was worth fighting for, and the last one I could never let Becca go through. Easier to stand up for your kid than yourself, I guess. So I said that I'd keep trying as long as she did. And she did. For me. Or for her. Or for our Becca. It doesn't really matter which. And if she hadn't? If I had to choose between staying together and doing what was right for our daughter? It wasn't pretty. It took a lot of work. A lot of work. Therapy, medication, time. Becca finally sleeping through the night. Probably more than anything. But I guess what I'm saying is, maybe you choose to stay, maybe you choose to leave, but you can't be the only one of you that believes in a future. Whatever this thing is that he's struggling with, if you've done what you can do, and he still chooses to let it fester and just give in, then there's just nothing that you can do. Maybe I could say that I would have just been protecting my daughter, but the truth is, I would have been protecting myself too, and that's not nothing. You matter too. And even if he is willing to fight it, there's no guarantees. It's going to be a long road. It still might not work out, and you need to be ready for that. You almost sound like you're trying to talk me out of it. But that's not the choice that you made, right? Even thinking that it would be a long road and all of that. Even when things were so awful, what made you decide to stay? Clyde pauses for a long time at that. Could say Becca, I guess. But it's more than that. There was a future where I raised her alone. Could say that it's because being married to Sarah was the life that I knew, but it's the kind of thing that you can't just put into words. What are we here for, Julian? What even matters? It's not all of this. He gestures to the office around us. We're not here to make somebody else richer. So I guess that means that we're here for each other. I don't know. I hope that helps. I'm not much good at this kind of thing. It did, really. Thank you. And you know, whatever happens, things will work out in the end, somehow or other. And you got a good head on your shoulders. You'll make it through. Thanks, Clyde. It means a lot. Wall break's almost up. And back to it. Thinking that we should be able to finish on time. You know, I never get home late, if I can help it. I think you've got the right idea. Even without an answer. The rest of the day is long, but it passes just a little bit easier. Coward that I am, I pretend to be asleep when Julian gets up and gets dressed. He doesn't try to wake me and leaves quietly. I hear what's probably him talking to Alex muffled through the door. The house is quiet once they leave for work. Amir's probably sleeping in. Who knows what Lark? You really fucked us up this time. Huh. That thought comes to me first before I inevitably circle back over everything again. Think that I might have a bruise on my shoulder where I hit the floor from Julian tackling me. He'd be absolutely mortified if I teased him about it, so I won't, but the thought is funny. Or almost is anyway. Having some aches is a better alternative if he'd let me continue. Probably. I recoil a bit from that thought, turning away from it as I head into the kitchen. I feel like a trespasser as I make coffee, some tramp who's crashed on the couch for the night and is now rooting through the place. Not exactly inaccurate, I guess. I sigh heavily and my forehead thumps on the kitchen cabinet. I lean against it while the coffee brews. The faux wood is cool, relieving. I'm not feverish, I think, but I am uncomfortably warm from lying in a bed so long. I take my coffee to go in the thermos. I need to move. I'm not hungry, and I sure as hell not in the mood to talk to Lark or Amir if I run into them. Julian's neighborhood makes me feel exposed. It's a lower density part of the disk. There's actually houses and even roads, though just for buses since it's not like anyone here could actually afford a car. Close as that is to the edge, it was probably one of the first parts of the second tier to get built up after the first rush of exodus and construction finished down in the well. I suppose those first people from the surface were desperate for a little more breathing room. The openness makes the first stand up on the back of my neck. It feels wrong to be surrounded by so little, to not be able to shelter between buildings, just me, the dome. And now, the memory of the sky, of what it could be instead. It only makes the surrounding emptiness worse, a constant reminder of what we'll never have hanging overhead, now that I've seen the real thing, or close enough to it. Isn't that a fucking kick in the teeth? All that stuff about knowledge setting you free? It was always bullshit. But no, I don't mean that. The real sky could be even worse. You can only take a thing like that, a thing that powerful, in small doses. That's why as soon as people could put things between them and the sky, they did. We're meant to build and cluster and burrow, raise walls and pillars and ceilings against the all-consuming emptiness. God, if they saw that all the time, it's no wonder how the old world went so crazy that they blew the whole thing to hell. I can only try to distract myself for so long. Well, Ash, here you are. Feels familiar, doesn't it? Same place you always seem to end up. Almost had a good thing going, but you just couldn't keep it together. Too weak to stay, too weak to run, too weak to commit either way. Got away from home, but that wasn't really the problem, huh? You walked step by bloody step through the ordeal of remaking your body to reflect who you really were, but you're still stuck with the man that you always were underneath. You always were the fucking problem. And now there's Julian. Or there was Julian. I can see him so clearly in my mind's eye. I can remember every detail of how he broke down. And now I feel it at last, that cold terror that washes in and wraps around me. If we stay together, he could get hurt, physically, as badly as I hurt myself, or even worse. Maybe whatever hurt me will make me hurt him. Maybe I'll hurt him, one way or another, because that's just who I am. I can't do that. How could I live with myself if I did? But God, after last night, could I hurt him just as much by leaving? It isn't fair. I never wanted this. I never wanted to hurt anyone. I only wanted my problems to be my own. But we're past that point, aren't we? I went to his bed. I let him hold me in his arms. I held him in mine. I buried my head in his chest and breathed in, and I thought that maybe things were gonna be okay. And now we're all tangled up and I can't do anything without hurting the only person that I love. Oh. I've never admitted that before, have I? Not really. I hate the way the part of me thinks that settles it. As though a simple animal feeling gets to decide something so important and so dangerous. But I already have decided, haven't I? If I'd really meant to leave, I would have left. And we talked about this. I told him that I couldn't promise what would happen, that I'd make it. I told him that I couldn't just be his project. But he accepted me anyway. The most terrifying thing is, I think he still does. He accepts me and everything that comes with me. Which means that I could hurt him, and maybe he just live with that. But what if he's wrong? What if he doesn't really understand? What if it'll become too much when he really sees it up close? What if he accepts me, but he shouldn't? What if it was just a kindness in the moment that he couldn't stop? But what if he's right? Because if he was, then that would mean that all my noble self-sacrifice was just me being a fucking asshole, and that I was pushing away somebody who didn't need me to go or want me gone. Fuck. Forget that I might hurt him. I did hurt him. And since I'm not smart enough to run now, that means that I'll need to at least try to make things right. The still breeze rising from the well brushes my face, the artificial climate circulation air the same way that it always has and always will. The solar lamp inches incrementally down the column with the passage of time. No great and sudden catastrophe emerges to sweep my choices away from me. Faced only with the city and myself, I turn to head home. As much as I feel better after talking to Clyde, doubts start to creep back in on the ride home. Even if I really am ready for whatever might happen, even if I'm still willing to be with Ash knowing what could happen, I can't make him feel the same way. He might have just grabbed this stuff and left while I was at work. He was ready to leave then. The fact that he'd stay was just a spur-of-the-moment decision, letting me hold him hostage with his stuff. No, deep down, I don't think that's really true. But I'm not sure what I expect to see when I head up to our room and open the door. Ash is still here, sitting on the bed. He hasn't left. And he looks wretched. Hey. Hey. You, have a good day at work? Yeah. As they go, I guess. Cool. Sorry. Can we talk? Yeah. I gestured to the bed beside him. Alright if I... Yeah, that's fine. The bed creaks a little under me as I settle myself. I'm heavier than Ash and he has to deliberately right himself to stay where he is. I keep my arms to myself, desperately afraid of doing or saying the wrong thing. So... I owe you an apology, I think. I don't know why I said I think. I owe you an apology. That's what I meant to say. Ash, you don't have to... Yes, I do. I do owe you an apology. I shouldn't have treated you like that, and you shouldn't feel like you need to be okay with being treated like that. My hands grasp each other in my lap. I want to end the conversation there, to say that everything is done and forgiven. I think that we both want that. But we need to actually solve this, to look at it and deal with it in full. Okay, let's just... What parts of, everything are we actually talking about? Guess there's a lot, huh? I shouldn't have hid so much from you as I did. Or, I don't know, maybe it wasn't not talking about it that was a problem, but I shouldn't have tried to choose for you. Fuck. I told myself that I was trying to protect you. I don't know if that's totally a lie, but that doesn't mean that I was right to do that. I'm scared, Julian. And I know how to be scared of my own. Scared for myself. But the idea of being scared for you, of what could happen to you, I didn't know how to deal with that. I still don't. And I try to solve that the simple way, the wrong way. And I'm sorry, and I'm still scared. I don't know if I've breathed once as he's spoken. Oh, Ash. Can I hug you? Please, not right now. Okay. I take a deep breath, feeling just how tense I am. I'm scared too. I still don't know what all of this means. I guess you don't either. It's a lot. It's more than I expected. I guess it's more than I know how to deal with. But being afraid, that doesn't mean that I want to run. I care about you. A lot. Maybe more than I know how to say. Even though we're struggling. Even if neither of us knows how this will end. Not just the memory thing. Everything. Us. I understand why you weren't ready to talk about it. But I want to know. I want to be there for you. I want to be with you. And I've thought about that. Thought about what I want. And none of this changes that. Simple as that, huh? Simple as that. That offer for a hug still stands? Yeah. Ash grasps and pulls himself to me with a desperate strength, always stronger than I expect for his size. His breath comes in shudders as he pulls himself to me, as he clings tightly to me. And I find that my arms tighten too, as I catch him up and pull him into the well of my body heat. I wrap the whole of myself around his narrow body and bury my muzzle in his head to breathe in only him. I don't know what to say. Can we get more comfortable? Yeah. We break apart, moving to shed our outerwear. As often as I've seen him naked, I'm almost afraid to glance over this time as he disrobes, but soon he pulls off the last of his clothes and crawls into bed. I follow him, and then he's in my arms once more. So, I kind of feel that you do have to see this scene. And I don't want to censor it, because I feel that the censoring this part will not really do anything, because you don't really see anything. So Julian, are you really sure about all of this? We don't have to be everything to each other. We can still be friends, even have this without being so close that you can get dragged down with me. You know me. I can take it. I can deal with it. I'll survive even alone. I know you will. You're tough. I think you'd survive anything. But there's more to life than survival. There's what we choose, who we choose. What we decide is worth the risk. And I thought it over as much as I can, and my answer hasn't changed. I'm choosing this, choosing you. And I guess I'm choosing you too. I can feel the brush of Ash's breath against my bare chest. His neck is pillowed on my arm. If I focus, I can just feel the beat of his pulse, warm and steady against my bicep. My hand brushes his back, fingers occasionally stroking his bare fur. I'm still scared. Then let's be scared together. A dry chuckle catches in his throat, the way that it does whenever something takes him by surprise and draws out that low, guffaw laugh. That laugh is so like him, rough and warm and resigned. It lingers with me. I want to keep hearing it, keep hearing him, even as it fades. He nuzzles in close, my arm tightens around him. If it discomforts him, he gives no sign. The warmth and softness of him fits against me, and I'll hold him for as long as he'll allow. For a moment at least, all is right. So, I guess I've got some explaining to do. As much as I wanted to, hiding in our room forever wasn't really an option. He thought it would be best to just get it over with at once. I'm not thrilled that he was right, but he was. He messaged the others, and now we're all assembled in what feels uncomfortably like a presentation or an interrogation. Me standing in front of the TV, Amir and Alex seated on the couch, Lark standing and leaning against it. Julian gives my hand an encouraging squeeze before moving to the easy chair. That's one way of putting it. Yeah, like, what was that? Is it gonna happen again? Are you okay? Ease off. Let him talk. There's a bit to cover. I wince internally at that. If we're actually going to deal with this, we might need their help. It might spot things that we'd miss. And that means actually being honest. So, starting with the obvious, I feel fine right now. But the truth is, that isn't the first time something like that happened. What do you mean? Yeah, hang on, what? Are you saying that that's the first time that there was anything that, drastic? But since waking up, since meeting you all and making memories again, there have been a couple moments when I can't remember something for just a little bit. This is the first one that I can actually remember. And you're saying that this is the first time that you did anything so dangerous? I spread my arms. Well, as far as I can tell, I am still missing the 2 whole years of memory. There's that. It's at least hypothetically possible that the two could be related. I guess. There's probably some kind of condition that can cause you to forget things and have episodes? 2 years of fully missing memory as an adult would be a truly rare phenomenon, as far as psychology is concerned. But then it's not as if rare conditions or presentations never happen. Still. Well, we know it's not anything physical. They scanned his brain when he first woke up. There wasn't outright neurological damage or anything. I suppose specific substance use could account for brief gaps in memory or sudden, reckless action. But if you were actually lying about something like that, you'd have no reason to admit in the past incidents. Gee, thanks. Don't be a prick, Lark. I'm not trying to be. What's being described is borderline supernatural. If we're to make any headways on it, that means accounting for more mundane hypotheses. At pure statistical baseline, simply lying would be far more likely than something as bizarre as what you're describing. But I don't believe that to be the case. Lark? It's fine. They're not wrong, I guess. Hold up. Borderline supernatural? What are you even saying? I mean, yeah, it's a rare presentation of a rare thing or whatever, but sometimes mental health is just weird like that. Maybe. I thought about it and did a little research. There was a little, if anything, that the symptoms line up with. And certainly nothing at all that would align with the simultaneously unexplainable diagnostic code on your implant. That bothers me. Lark? That again? I mean, I'm not trying to be dismissive here, but there is plenty of ways that it could have gotten damaged or corrupted or something over the past 2 years. Humor me. If nothing else, gathering what information we can will make explaining things to a doctor easier. Something itches at the back of my neck. Just where is this going? Sure, that makes sense. So, take a step back. Start at the beginning. Describe as much as you can about these incidents. Any detail might be important. Or, before that, the last that you remember before the 2-year gap. Shit, wasn't really sure if I was gonna go there, but I won't try to wriggle out of it now. I grit my teeth. Right, about that. I think that's where it all starts. The last thing that I did was loading a mod to my exchange implant. That's a thing? What even for? Nothing for it. It was supposed to turn off the safeties. The ones that kick you out of the exchange if you get too hungry or thirsty in real life, or if you fall asleep. And then it was supposed to knock me out or mess with my perception of time or something. I was trying to kill myself. Holy shit. No. My eyes find Julian's. That's the worst of it done. I settle, if only a little bit. You have my deepest sympathy. I raise my hand before the condolences start. Look, to be clear, I'm not in that place now. I'm saying it because it's what happened. Maybe it matters. But I don't really want to talk about that part. Fair enough. Then let us move back to practicalities. You created this mod yourself? No, that'd be pretty beyond me. I've never heard of stuff like that. There's not much reason to touch the firmware, and it's near impossible to crack anyway. Most of what people do is fucking around with instance permissions, that kind of thing. Stuff that's not inside of you. At least that's how Derek explained it. Well, then where did it come from? When I was kind of in the thick of both the transition stuff and, you know, the other stuff, there was some social instances that I ended up in online that weren't great. Not jailbroken, but out of the way. I guess that I thought of them as support groups because they seemed like they thought like me. Looking back, Ash. God, that place. I've tried to avoid thinking about it. It was anonymous. More of a message board than a social instance. The kind of place for people who had problems. People who were tired of everyone telling them that it would get better. People who had shed that kind of naivete. People who flattered themselves as too clever, too worldly for that kind of hope. Fuck me. I can't even begin to explain all that right now. Anyway, that's not important. But one of them, I saw some rumors about something like that existing. And then, once there was an actual link, so I followed it, and it led to an anonymous instance selling the mod. I did check once before I woke up. The social instance and the one where I bought it are both gone, like they were never there at all. So nothing on this mysterious mod. What about the missing 2 years? Anything? Yeah, I tried doing some digging and there's nothing, or at least nothing publicly accessible. And there wasn't, any activity in my accounts or anything. I didn't buy anything or get picked up by the police, which is about as much as I could have think of looking for to prove I even existed. Cutting social commentary, that. Not really the time, Lark. Still, it raises more questions. Surely you had to eat. You'd think. No medical records either. So, despite losing your memory, you were presumably alive and well enough to be standing in front of us today. But you somehow existed in a way that left no trace whatsoever. Seems like it. I've been thinking about that element for a bit since the incident. There's a few possible explanations, each less and less likely. First, it is possible that you were somehow existing under an adopted identity, or no identity at all. Perhaps whatever damage you did to your firmware also wiped or altered your identification. From there, it is possible that you simply spent 2 years going about your business or institutionalized in a jail or hospital. Wait, that's the other thing. We found him in what looked like a hospital gown. I looked it up. It's the same brand most hospitals use. There wasn't anything identifying on it. And you don't know either, Ash? Not a clue. And besides, wouldn't he have been tagged by the hospital system or something? It wouldn't make any sense that you couldn't find anything. Yeah, it doesn't really make sense. What about the location that he was found? He was just nearby. Wait, that's another thing. I only found him because I was following a drone that dropped out of my control. Right, I think I remember you mentioning that. Yeah, it was right next to you. More than that though, it seemed like it was looking at us. When I tried to check the logs, they'd been wiped. I take a moment to process what Julian just said. What the fuck? Those might have been good details to know. I feel a flash of anger, but the circumstances of this entire conversation immediately throw water on it. It's not like I'm one to talk, and I feel a little bit of an asshole as he wilts. I'm sorry. There was just so much going on when you woke up, it completely slipped my mind. So a rogue drone that led you right to him. Another unexplained element. A lot of those going around. I mean, somebody would have found him sooner or later either way. It's not like it was that out of the way. Still, let's set that aside for now and move to another possibility. If you weren't on the street or sampling our fine public institutions, perhaps you were held somewhere or by someone that didn't want to be found. Records don't exist because there weren't any. What? Now you're bringing in kidnappers? Let them finish. That's all that I had. It would explain the lack of records. Maybe it could explain the other odd element, but it would be through specifics that seem entirely beyond what we can deduce from what we currently know. A silence falls over the group as their words sink in. I feel an itching at the back of my neck. I don't like this. Think that you ain't alone on that. I mean, you might also be overcomplicating this. His ID was busted for a while. He wandered around and got into shit for a while, and then, yeah, by coincidence he got found by Julian. That isn't that crazy. Certainly less crazy than the third hypothesis. Which is that he wasn't in Megiddo at all. We're all stunned into silence. Oh, come on. That really doesn't seem... Where are you even saying that he would have been? I said it was unlikely. Again, we are dealing with events that cannot be explained. That means considering every possibility, however unlikely. We can explain them, you just don't like it. They would require coincidences of such magnitude that the implausibility is not beyond consideration. But truly, I only mention that one for the sake of completeness. The fact is, what happened to you may be beyond what we can deduce right now. But there's more information that we don't have yet. You said you remembered other incidents. Yeah. Can we take a break for just a second? I'm parched. And increasingly overwhelmed, Julian seems to catch as much. Yeah, come on. We've been talking a bunch. Let's get you some water. If you don't want to keep going, Ash is a big boy. He can say if he wants to stop. But if this could help him... Yeah, just a second, okay? Of course. Getting water isn't exactly a two-person job, but I can feel Julian coming in behind me as I fill a cup from the sink and take a deep swig. You doing okay? I sigh and turn to face him, leaning against the sink. I'm fine, really. I don't think that he believes me. It occurs to me that he is starting to learn how to see through me when I'm bullshitting. But he doesn't say anything. Which I guess leaves it to me to try practicing this whole being honest thing if I actually mean it. Okay, I'm not great, but I'm going to be fine. I mean, with the state you're in, if this is just going to stress you out more. No, Lark's right. Something about all this still doesn't add up. And if we're gonna figure it out, then I need to be able to actually look at this and face it. Julian's expression softens. Wordlessly, he steps closer. He's careful with the glass, but unfolds me in his arms all the same. The feeling is almost foreign. I lean into it, and him. He holds me a moment before stepping back. Okay, but if it does get to be too much... I know, I'll say something. And thanks. I don't see his expression as I tilt my head back, draining the glass. Now let's do this. Feeling better? I'm fine, just thirsty, like I said. I'm not used to talking this much. Well, careful not to wear yourself out. Indeed. Anyway, it's appreciated. Did you want to continue? Yeah, I'm fine. Where were we? Well, we've gotten about as much that we can out of the circumstances around you waking up. But you mentioned other incidents. Right, there's not really much to share on the first one. It was a few days after I woke up. I was just taking a shower and I just realized that I had suddenly lost a few minutes. Like the mirror completely fogged up in a second. I just wrote it off as stress. Could be. I mean, I've fallen asleep on my feet before. Not much to go on. Nothing else unusual around it? Not that I can recall. The second one's where it started getting weird. Weird how? Well, let's see. It was one of the first times that I went out with the two of you, actually. I nod to Alex and Amir. No shit? Yeah, I started blacking out a bit. In and out, like losing a few seconds here and there. I was tearing up a napkin in my lap and I didn't know why. Jesus. That was happening right in front of us? Yeah, freaked out a little, and I guess I was afraid of you two seeing it. So I ran to the bathroom to try to get it under control, but it just got worse and I lost a bunch of time at once. And then when I came to, I clawed a bunch of stuff into the mirror. Stuff? Numbers, just random shit, as far as I could tell. Wait, I took a picture. I sent the image from my interface to theirs. Huh. Weird. But yeah, it's just a number. Doesn't mean anything to me. Something about it. Well, there must be some kind of meaning to it. He begins to pronounce them slowly, like he's feeling out each digit. 1, 2, 1, 3, 2, 2, 4, 8, 2, 1, 3, 5, 8. 11 digits. So in the billions. Not much that there's a few billion of. I don't know, points? Atoms of something? I glance over at Amir, who's been silent. His brow is furrowed. He's mouthing something under his breath. Files over a file size? Presuming that there is some connection to the implant issue. Well, why are we limiting ourselves to counting things anyway? It could be all sorts of things, like a cipher. Didn't exactly remember my math puzzle activity book. Amir goes very, very still. He leans just barely forward and squints, as though he needs to see the image projected into his brain more closely. Or if not deliberately obscured, a representation of something else entirely. Amir's eyes widen. Maybe, but for something like that, surely it'd need to be, I know what it is. The conversation stops dead. Go on. It's a date. Look, 2248. That's last year. It's got the month and date before it. Isn't it still too long for that? The rest is hours, minutes, and seconds. December 13th, 2248, military time, so late at night. He steadies himself, pauses. Something drops in my stomach just as he opens his mouth. The day that Derek disappeared, after my call stopped even ringing. My mouth is suddenly dry. That's... I mean, maybe there's some bullshit there fucking is. What are the odds that he writes the exact day? I mean, okay, if he was writing a date, that would be near when he... I wondered. Amir goes dead quiet. He turns towards Lark slowly. You what? I didn't want to jump the gun on mere conjecture. But after all... They both went missing under mysterious circumstances. Ash had inexplicable issues with his implant and, of course, Derek was immersed in exchange jailbreaking. The connections have been bothering me since Julian mentioned that earlier, I suppose. To say nothing, of course, of them both suffering from. Amir is immediately on his feet. You thought Derek might be involved in this, and you didn't fucking say anything? Whoa. I told you, it was only a hunch. Amir, don't... Is this a fucking joke to you? You feel smart for figuring it out before we did? Did you even... Amir. I flinch back from the both of them, shocked by the power behind Lark's voice. It is at least enough to stop Amir, and Lark speaks slowly and deliberately, hands raised placatingly. It was only one among an enormous number of possibilities, which I've only now had confirmed. Without anything backing it, it would have been enormously cruel to you to bring it up without good reason. And I will remind you that he was my friend too. I am sorry that I didn't say anything earlier, but I am trying to help. There is a threat here. We need to follow it. Be angry at me if you feel that I deserve it, but please let Ash continue. For Derek's sake, if not mine. My breath is held. For just a second, I think Amir might actually take a swing at them. But whatever the years have built between them takes the strain, bends, but does not break. Amir nods, sits. Right. Sorry about that. Think nothing of it. Ash? The only other incident is yesterday, right? Right, okay. I mean, you all saw how it kinda went down, but this time I remember what I was doing, what I was thinking. In the wake of the argument, it's hard not to be aware of the silence and how the attention in the group weighs on me. Go on. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and I'm not sure how clearly I remember it. I came back with the beer. Right, something about it just sort of caught me. Something about how it kinda sloshed around in the bottle. Like, I understood how and why it was moving. I was seeing it differently, and it got me comparing it to something trying to solve it. There was something important that I was trying to write down or figure out, like I was doing scratch work or something. Wait, I remember the first thing that you did. You started kinda itching at your arm. Right, for some reason the thought was, like, try to trace or write it out, but, I didn't stay so... Wait, you broke the fucking bottle to write on yourself? Oh fuck. What? Ash, your arm. When I found you, I never figured out what actually caused it. Do you think... My blood runs cold. It could fit. It's not as if we made a close examination of the injury before applying the sealant, but... I roll up my sleeve, looking down at the scar pattern marring my fur. I feel sick. Just what was I trying to do to myself? But either way, I mean, we have a lead. Do we? We've tried to find Derek since then. Even if there's a connection, does it get us any closer to figuring things out? I breathe in. My mind casts back 2 years ago to that terrible moment that changed everything. Did you walk that road too, Derek? What's the thread that binds us? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Either way, I have to try. And I'm going to. I almost surprise myself with the certainty in my voice. Resolve. Resolve, as it fills me, is a dull and heavy thing. But it is mine to wield. And yet... I look up from my scar, and in the corner of the room I catch Julian's gaze, soft and concerned. Scared. Not of me. For me. For us. I meet his gaze with a certainty that I hope is reassuring. Together we've crossed this line. There is no going back now, no living in ignorance. No matter what we find. To be continued. You've reached the end of the current build. Thank you for playing. Faintly here, there is so much, though. Thank you for playing, and I hope that you've enjoyed the new build. With this chapter, we're moving well past the setup and starting to get into some of the meat of the story. I've been very excited to hit this milestone, and I'm looking forward to what we've got in store for you over the coming builds. If you'd like to continue the story and help support the ongoing development of this project, you can check out the next chapter right now on Patreon. Patreons also get early access to early builds, full resolution assets, and behind-the-scenes content, including CG previews and making of articles. If you enjoyed your time with the game, you'd also be very grateful if you could leave a review on the itch.io page. It gets said a lot, but these reviews are incredibly helpful in getting the word out. You can also find us on Blue Sky or join the community on Discord. It is possible that the next build might be a bit... Chapter 7 was some pretty ambitious things in store, but I'm excited to have it in your hands once it's done. That's all for now. See you around. Okay, let's get that. So, obviously, there's a lot to say about talking things out with people, your friends, your loved ones, etc., especially if you're having something going on. And obviously, there was a lot in what Ash had to say, and maybe Lark is jumping to conclusions, maybe they're not. Maybe they're the only smart one in this group. And now there seems to be a connection between Ash and this... It's Derek, right? Wow, I can't believe I'm forgetting the name so fast. Derek, I believe. That they either wrote the code that Ash was going to use to try to off themselves, or that perhaps Derek is also one of the people that is somehow involved in what happened with Ash, meaning either they were part of the kidnappers or part of the people that were presumably experimenting on Ash or something, I don't know. Or maybe they were also kidnapped, and whatever happened to Ash is happening to Derek, because Derek only recently disappeared, right? And Ash disappeared 2 years ago, or had the 2 year where they just don't remember what happened. So yeah, I do feel bad for Amir because he always gets the short end of the stick. I mean, their partner goes missing. Then it turns out that one of your friends may or may not have known about a connection related to that after one of your friends gets their friend back. And now it's like, oh, so I've been in the dark this whole time. That's nice. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, but like there was no way to confirm it. So like literally right this moment when you found out this information, the other person confirmed the information. So it's like, yeah, like I wouldn't have been able to tell you either way until now. So like, yeah, calm down, dude. Hopefully Ash continues to open up more to Julian at least, so that they can make it work. But yeah, it's that really in relationships, you always need to talk. There is always problems because people refuse to talk, refuse to tell each other what is going on, refuse to tell each other when they don't feel good about something or other. They hide things, etc., etc. And bad things happen. So just talk to your partners. Anyway, also there's a lot to be said about the whole the healthcare system, and then even worse, the mental health care system. Like, yeah. But anyways, so what are your thoughts? Write it down in the comments, and thank you all for watching / listening. If you would like to play Under Heaven yourself, you can do so by going down to the link in the description, which have a direct link for the Agio page. They do have a Patreon and a subscribe star where you get presumably early, well, no, they already said you get early access to build of Under Heaven, and Chapter 7 is already on there. They said so themselves, but it's probably going to take a little bit longer for it to come out publicly, meaning that although Chapter 7 is there, there's probably still some missing things there. And support them if you want. They do have merch in the form of the first part of the album, which you can see right there on the bottom left. And they do have physical merch, which I guess I think it's prints of certain CGs from the visual novel. So yeah, like if you want a print, like I have Remember the Flowers, I have 2 prints from the visual novel. Thank you, Orion. Buy it. They do have, of course, their Discord and Blue Sky and, Itch.io, whatever. Anyways, if you would like to support the channel, consider, becoming a channel member, which gives you earlier access to these videos as they're being scheduled. So this is going to go out on the 2nd week of August. So, and it's being recorded on July the 10th. So, What else? What else should I say? Oh, in case you can't support through channel membership, I do have a Ko-fi. Any form of support is appreciated. Give the video a like if you haven't already, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. All those little things do actually help, and write a comment. comment. Those things apparently do help too. It tells YouTube like, hey, people are engaging with the video. They're just not leaving it running in the background while they do their chores, which, you know, I am guilty of doing for other people. I also have a throw in case you're feeling overly generous, and if you have some expendable income, I have stuff there. Anyway, so I guess that's it for now, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.